In this video, I want to share some tools and principles for personal growth and inner transformation related to the Enneagram. And also explain a little bit what the Enneagram is and why I'm inspired by it. And this is also a teaching for my inner transformation online community. We have a monthly team, so this video will be about February theme, which is related to the Enneagram teachings. And if you are not a member of the inner transformation community, then you might consider joining. You are welcome to join once for free. We have a monthly webinar, 3 hours, with teachings, some inquiry practice in groups of 2 or 3, and coaching demonstrations. Our February webinar will be on the 17th of February in the evening, European time. So the February theme is related to Enneagram Type 1. And we are exploring every month the passions and virtues, as they are called in the Enneagram teachings. So first, what is the Enneagram, and how can it be useful for personal growth, inner transformation? So the Enneagram is a typology of 9 different traits of being human, we can say. And we have Enneagrams of the enlightened perspective on life, and we have Enneagrams, which means 9 points for ego states of human life. And we have Enneagrams of 9 difficult emotions, and so on. So in a simple way to explain it, we can say people come in 9 different forms. It's like humanity is divided into 9 categories. This is one way to look at human beings. So we have 9 personality types, and we all tend to have one dominating type. And the personality can be understood as a coping way, a way to cope with life, a way to manage life, a way to try to be satisfied, safe, content, and find meaning in life. And it's also like a pair of glasses, a way to look at life. It is, our whole personality structure is organized in a specific way, and there are 9 different specific ways in this teaching. And I personally find the Enneagram teachings very precise, very rich, and also useful in self-understanding. It is also easy to be caught in the theory. So I use it in a simplified way, just as a self-awareness tool, and to give some pointers, combining it with basic practices that we use in Zen Coaching. So the Enneagram has ancient origins. Some say from the Sarmung school from Afghanistan, which goes back thousands of years actually, that it has its roots back there and was picked up by Gurdjieff, the Greek Armenian teacher, 100 years ago, and further developed by Oscar Ichazo in Argentina, and again by Claudio Naranjo, and further others over the last 20, 30, 40 years. And it has become a very well-known and much used tool. Also, the deeper aspects of the Enneagram has been further developed by A.H. Almaz or Hamid Ali of the Diamond Approach, the founder of the Diamond Approach, and by teachers such as Ross Hudson, who is one of the leading teachers of and developers of the modern Enneagram. So I find it amazingly precise and amazingly rich, and also both clarifying and practical. The richness is a strength, and it's also a danger in getting caught in all the explanations, all the typology. Particularly in the inner transformation community this year, we are looking at the passions and virtues. So in the Enneagram system, there are 9 passions, which are 9 ways we suffer. This is the original meaning of the word passion, the passion of Christ, the suffering of Christ. So passion in the original meaning of suffering. So 9 ways we suffer. Those are also in the Christian tradition calls the deadly sins. So it's a development of that. And on the other side of the passions, of the ways we suffer, are the virtues, which are when we transform our suffering, when we mature as human beings, when we integrate our true capacities, our deeper capacities, then we start living as these 9 virtues. So each of the 9 types has one primary suffering, which keeps coming back again and again and again, and it is like our Achilles heel. It is like our stone in the shoe. It is bugging us, it is bothering us, it is influencing us, it is impacting us, it is troubling us basically our whole life. And it is also where our growth opportunity primarily lies, to deal with it, to face it, to meet it, to understand it, and to transform it. So to realize that the kind of suffering that keeps recurring in my life, which is basically some very difficult emotions that I try to avoid and that I grapple with and that I try to compensate for, when I realize that it is normal, it comes with being human, that I have a primary struggle, and we all have a primary struggle. And there are many people who have my primary struggle, but there are many people who have a different primary struggle. So we are different. Now, these 9 types of struggle, 9 types of people with 9 types of struggle, they are not exactly different. It means each of us, we have all the 9 struggles, but we have one struggle which is dominating our life. So it is like our primary challenge. We can also look at these 9 types as 9 faces of the ego self, the traditional personality typology. So each type as a personality type is a face or a facet of our egoic self. And underneath our egoic self is our true self, our essential self. So we have 2 sides of life. We have a constructed self, a coping self, a mental self, a survival self, a habitual self, a conventional self, a conditioned self. All of that is what can be called the egoic self, personality self. So that's one side of life. The other side of life is like the core, our center, our inner truth, our natural being, our true potential as human beings, which is essence, being, heart. And our true essential self is, when we connect with it, is where we find peace, where we find meaning, where we find magic, where we find mystery, where we find love, where we find everything we're looking for in life. So the egoic self is always trying to get it constructed somehow by doing, by getting it from the outside, by changing myself, by manipulating my emotions, by trying to think differently. So it's always a getting based on a deficiency. Now the essential self is content and complete and at peace and in joy and meaning and openness. So you can think of a happy baby, open, not thinking, not planning the future. Or you can think of a content animal, a cat, enjoying the moment. It's like a natural state. Our natural state is contentment, enjoyment, openness. In Zen they call it no mind. I'm beyond thinking. I'm in a different identity. Our true identity is essential, is being, is not definable in the same way as our egoic self. Doesn't have a category like a personality category. Rather, it has qualities of being. So similarly, as we have 9 personality types, we have 9 facets of being. Of the true being is not one thing, or it's not just one thing. It comes with all this richness of facets and qualities. So as each of us suffer from a primary struggle, primary difficult emotion, so to each of us is given like a special gift, a special power, a special opportunity, a special quality that we have closer access to. And interestingly enough, our biggest pain, our biggest struggle is related to our biggest gift within ourselves, and the biggest gift we have to offer the world. So in other words, the pain, the struggle points at the gift. So instead of seeing the struggle and pain, suffering as an obstacle that is blocking our path, we can see it as the path to the gift. Okay, I'm face the suffering, and it will point me, it will send me to the gift. And the gift will mature as a virtue. Now, it's not a quick fix. So certain qualities we can connect with quickly. Certain essential qualities, they are always available because they are who we are. So as we drop out in any way, drop out of our obsessive thinking, neurotic, worrying, planning, regretting mind, we can drop into being, into some quality quickly and immediately. So those are essential qualities. Now the virtues are more like the awakened heart in a mature human being. So as it's more like a growth, it takes time. So I work, I grapple, I struggle, I digest, I face my pain, my difficulties, my addictions. Over time, I do the work. And slowly, I gain more and more access to my true gift. I mature as a human being. I mature from the passion, the suffering, the struggle, into the virtue more and more. And then sometimes I fall back when life is stressful, when life is difficult, I fall back into the passion. So, suffering, struggle, slowly moving into virtue if we do the work. If we don't, then we don't. So our February theme is type 1 in the Enneagram. And the passion here, the suffering, we can call resentment. It's like an upsetness, like I'm resentful that the world is the way it is, that it's not better, that there is so much things are wrong in the world. There are so many wrong things in the world. It shouldn't be so unfair. There shouldn't be so many lies. There shouldn't be so much corruption, pollution, lack of care, lack of love, oppression, violence, selfishness, greed. There are so many things that are going wrong. There are so many lies. There's so much manipulation. It is not right. It is wrong. So I feel the world is wrong and bad, too wrong and too bad. There's not enough goodness, and I'm resentful about it. I'm angry about it. I'm upset about it. I have a grievance. It's like, because I want the world to be the goodness and beauty it could be. I know in the depth of my heart, and this is where my gift is, as a one, and also for any human, because we are all the 9 types. But if this is your primary type, this is your primary gift, like, because you know in the heart of your heart, you know the goodness and beauty of life in its essence. But your mind sees everything that is wrong, and I want to improve it. I want to fix it. So there is a wanting to be a missionary, to be somebody who fixes the wrongs of the world. And this extends to myself. I want to fix myself. I am not good enough. I am also wrong. I am also bad. I'm never good enough. I need to fix myself. I need to be better. There's a tremendous pressure, and I'm never quite satisfied. So there's a lot of judgment. A lot of judgment of others, of the world, dissatisfaction, resentment of myself, my habits. Now, I don't let myself feel the anger. I don't let myself feel the resentment because it is painful, because it is something I want to avoid. So rather than stopping feeling and embracing those difficult emotions, I get on with the work. I start to improve things. And when I have completed some tasks, then I can relax for a short moment. But there are so many things to do. There are so many things are wrong with me, with my partner, with the world, with my society, with my community, with nature. So it is very hard to relax. The task, as with every type in the Enneagram, the task we have is to face the suffering, to feel it, to not try to fix it, to not enter only into a doing, hoping I will get there one day and find contentment and peace. Because there is this ideal, if I do enough, if I do the right thing, finally I will succeed and I will find tranquility and joy in life. But I never succeed, because the source of that peace and tranquility is within my true nature, within my own essence. So actually, by finding it within myself, I become a source of it in the world. The paradox is being in this pattern of being a world savior, a rescuer, a missionary, from an ignored or suppressed place of resentment and anger. I am spreading the energy of judgment and resentment in the world, while at the same time I want a world dominated by love, gratitude, where we are all living our greatest potential as heartful, spirited beings. So the paradox is, all my work to create this world is at the same time spreading exactly that which I am trying to save the world from. That is why, and it is the same with all the types, that when we are operating from this egoic suffering place, we are actually creating more of that which we are trying to avoid for ourselves and for the world. So it is a tragic case, tragic situation, as long as we are completely caught in this place. So take a moment and check if you recognize this in yourself. And how does it feel to hear these words? If you have an ego self, if you have a personality structure, and you are not a fully enlightened Buddha, you have this pattern inside. We all do. It is part of being human to face this pattern. Now for the good news. The good news is, if we allow ourselves to see this pattern and see it as a pattern and not hold on and be too attached to the belief that if only the world was different, then I could find peace. If we see it as a mental pattern, a personality pattern, then I can stop. Okay, I'm creating this actually with my way of looking, with my way of avoiding feeling. Step one, I am the creator of this reality. It is not only out there, it is projected on the world from inside. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. If you have a different personality type, you see a different world. We all live in 9 different worlds based on our primary type. That is why it can be difficult to understand other people, because automatically we believe people see the same world I see. But it's not like that. So I see it as a pattern. I see I create this world with my thinking. I stop. Okay, interesting. I am creating this reality. Taking responsibility for being the creator of my reality and not the victim of it. Step 2, notice how it feels. Shit, it feels scary to meet myself there. Oh, there's a lot of pain, emotional pain there that I don't want to feel. Okay, notice the resistance to feeling that pain. Allow the resistance to be here. Now this is the path forward. This is the solution. This is the movement toward the virtue, toward the essential quality. It is very simple, basic principles, but we have to actually do it, right? Not just hear about it. That is where the trick lies. So I stop, I feel, it's painful. There's anger, there's resentment, there's frustration, there's a grievance, there's an upsetness. How does that feel? How does it feel in my body? I'm feeling the lack. There's like a hole inside, like, oh. So this is the path. I see myself as, I see the pattern, I see I'm the creator of it, I take responsibility, and I face the pain, and I face it in the body, and I embrace. That which can embrace is already our essential nature. So I am already home in some sense. The moment I embrace, the moment I see, I'm in clarity. The moment I embrace, I'm in compassion. So that's a beautiful thing to recognize. The fact that I can see a pattern as a pattern, the fact that I can embrace a difficult emotion is already clarity and love, compassion. So taking a breath, feeling that. And then allowing whatever comes up to come up and staying curious, showing up to what shows up with compassion and curiosity. That is the path of inner transformation. And that is what we do in Zen Coaching and in the Inner Transformation Community. And the teachings are often to help us recognize a pattern as a pattern, and to help us identify with some precision the kind of emotion and the kind of pain that is living in me and that I may be avoiding. And to provide some support in staying with and embracing whatever is here and allowing the unfoldment to happen. So it is not about buying into some theory that's going to soothe us. Like Marx said, religion is opium for the people. It is not giving us an ideology, a theory that is there to soothe us. It is actually much more challenging than that. It is only for the brave-hearted, the courageous, to actually face your pain, to embrace it, to face the truth of the moment. It is being a scientist. The teaching is a finger pointing, helping us face something. If we face it, an alchemy happens, a shift, a transformation. It is not a theory. It is an inner shift. Shift happens. We face the shit, the difficulty, and shift happens. And after the shift, something opens. There's a sigh of relief. And then we check, what's happening in me now? Wow, the world changed. My experience of life changed from one moment to the next. There's an openness, there's a peace, there's an acceptance. I see beauty. I notice how much beauty there is everywhere. My habitual, judgmental, critical, fault-looking mind went silent. And I look out and I see the beautiful blue sky. And I feel life is good. And yes, there is suffering. It is part of life. But there's a deeper, like a source that is deeper than the suffering. I feel the goodness and beauty and perfection of life. It is not something to understand logically. It is an experience. And here I have tremendous clarity. It's like my brain lights up. There's the brilliancy of intelligence, the essential quality of brilliant seeing. And in my heart, there's a tranquility and serenity, which is the virtue of the one. I see perfection. I see goodness. I feel it, and I feel self-acceptance. I have self-acceptance. I am good enough. I am okay. The self-critical voice went on holiday. I have a different life. How marvelous, how wonderful. Feel it for a moment. Just, if you're not there, imagine you're there. How would life be if you're not having this voice, not good enough, you should be better, must do more, seeing all the mistakes, all the wrong. Instead, tranquility, peace, clarity, and then an impulse to contribute. But from seeing beauty, acceptance of people's follies and weaknesses and trouble, understanding that people act strangely and violently because they suffer. And behind it is their attempt at finding and living goodness and beauty, even when the action is the opposite. So our compassion for people grows. Instead of fighting evil with violence, I want to embrace evil and melt it into goodness, which is at the heart also of evil. So that was a bit of a teaching on the one in the Enneagram system, the passion of or suffering of resentment, anger, frustration, grievance, seeing the badness and wrongness of things, fault finding, always looking for what's wrong, trying to fix it in myself and others. And a virtue, a tranquility, a serenity, an acceptance, seeing the goodness of things, and a clarity, the essential quality there of a brilliancy, a completeness, a contentment, clear seeing. So again, I invite you to join our Inner Transformation community if you are not already a member, and also study the Enneagram teachings. If this inspires you, you can check out Russ Hudson, R-U-S-S, Hudson, H-U-D-S-O-N. He has a lot of great teachings out there on this topic. Also, Almas has written recently a book called Keys to the Enneagram, and a deeper book about the spiritual foundation, deeper aspect of the Enneagram, called The Facets of Unity. That's an older book. And Zen Coaching, you can check out on zencoaching.com. I offer an annual 1-year training in Sweden, South Africa. We also have training in Poland. And I also offer an online program called True Prosperity, which is coming out now soon in a new form. So check that out. You can find more information about that later on my homepage, zencoaching.com. Zen Coaching is also a community of 500-600 people worldwide, community of friends supporting each other and sharing Zen coaching tools, offering coaching. So you can also have a personal coaching. You can find a list of coaches there on zencoaching.com. We also offer free listening evenings every Tuesday night. So you can find that on Facebook, free listening evenings. You can search that, Zen Coaching Free Listening Evenings, on Facebook. So there are many options, and again, if you want to join once a 3-hour webinar, monthly webinar for the Inner Transformation online community, please sign up for that. This community is now on a special offer for 140 euros for 1 year, so a bit over 10 euros a month. So not a huge investment, but beautiful support for your inner journey. Have a beautiful day.